Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Dee Reinhardt, and we are going to be talking about the optimal resume and portfolio builder this morning on our webinar. In case you have difficulty hearing through your computer speakers, there is a phone number that you can dial into. It is 866-821-1611, and that phone number is in the pod at the top of the screen. If you have not already taken the opportunity to download the presentation, we do have a file pod in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen that has the PDF version of the presentation. So if you want to take that so that you can take notes, or else just take notes along the way and then download the file, you can do that. We're going to move this informational poll out of the way. And today what our discussion is going to focus on is building your optimal resume. And this is focused on our ADAM customers, and it is scheduled for release next week, which is very exciting because this is a great tool. I really enjoyed learning all of the aspects of it as I was creating this presentation. So let's get started with our presentation. And you want to make a great first impression when you are meeting with employers down the road. So one of the first things that you need to be able to do is prepare yourself with all of the tools that are available in this resume builder. It's great that you're getting some training in some new skills, but you need to be able to present those new skills in the right way as you're moving forward in your job search after training. So what we're going to cover today is being able to access your account, the document center where all of these different aspects of optimal resume are housed. That includes skills assessment, resume, letters, portfolios, video resumes, websites, and interviews. First and foremost, we will be seeing this screen once you've obtained access to Optimal Resume. And one of the reasons that we picked Optimal Resume is there was an exhaustive search that Illinois WorkNet went through before they finally joined forces with Optimal Resume to provide this comprehensive resume tool to all of our job seekers. Optimal Resume was selected because of the assortment of tools, the variety of options, and the ease of use, and because they have helped over 2 million job seekers across the country. So let's take a look at how you will access Optimal Resume. And right now, the answer to Trish's question is that currently it's only going to be available to ADAM customers. The hope is that we roll it out to everyone. So right now what you will do is you will go to ADAM, and Natasha or Lacey, if you can type in the link in the chat pod, I would appreciate that. So you access your ADAM account, and then you log in step number 2 using your Illinois WorkNet account information. So it's going to be a one sign-on access. And then after that, you go to the where the arrow is pointing, and it's Resume and Portfolio Builder once you are in your user account on ADAM. So let's take our first poll question. And for all of our participants out there, do you access your ADAM account regularly? All right, so we've got some answers going on. Good, all right, we're going to close this poll. One of the things that are part of the profile builder on Optimal Resume is the fact that you can enter your career preferences. And you have industry selections that include manufacturing, packaging, and transportation, among others. But the job functions also include industrial design, installation, maintenance, repair, logistics, transportation, maintenance management, production operations, project program management, quality assurance, safety, and transportation and warehousing. So there are some great choices in here for all of our ADAM users to select from. And you can make those items in your selections here and then change them if something happens down the road. Inside of your Optimal Resume account is all of these tools, and this is called the Document Center. In the Document Center, you have a place to store files that you've either created within the program or that you upload to it. And you can access all of those items in the Document Center from your resume homepage, or you can access it from the toolbar where you see the arrows pointing. The first thing that we're going to talk about is the skills assessment. And what I want to do before we get started in there, I want to bring up the question here. Have you already used the skills and inventory surveys on Illinois WorkNet? So we're seeing some answers coming in, which is great. Okay, we're going to close this poll down. And one of the things that we want to talk about is why the assessment is important. And you'll probably see this during the demonstration or during the presentation here. But the assessments are important to help you realize what you have in your wheelhouse, what sort of examples that you might be able to share with an employer, the different things that will help you build your ability to sell yourself to a new employer to make sure that you are giving them the answers to the questions that they have and the problems that they need solved. What you would do first is you would select the assessments box, and then you would pick the type of assessment that you want to do. We have a skills inventory, an accomplishment sheet, and then a proficiency list. Then you will name your assessment. Within the skills assessment, depending upon the industry choice that you've made, there's a number that shows up right here that says 35, and I noted it here, that will tell you how many skills there are available for you to work with. Then you have experiences by type, and we'll be going through these in just a moment. What you do with this is you add specific anecdotes or experiences by skill and experience. When you hover over a particular skill, you will see a little pop-up box that shows you what that skill actually means. And skills may be added or deleted, so if you don't have a particular skill, you can delete it from the list so that it doesn't look like you're missing something. The experience categories can be added or deleted or reordered. So if you notice here, I have 5 of them, and if you notice in the next row, I only have 4 of them because one of them just didn't apply to me specifically. Once you have selected the skill and the category, you click Add, and the pop-up box shows up, and you can enter your anecdote in this box. And then you can enhance it with the document formatting that you might find in Word or one of the other typing tools that you might use. So you can bold it or use italics. Let's take our next poll. So do you have some examples from your skills that you would be able to share with an employer, just looking at what some of these items are that have been on the list. And just as Natasha wrote, the Resume Builder has some examples of skills built into the tool as well. All right, we're going to close down this poll. The next phase in the skills assessment is your abilities. And as you notice here, we have 52 abilities listed from the type of career and inventory and industry that I selected. It's the same process as skills, and you have the abilities listed based on your industry choice. You can add or delete abilities down here on the side, and you can add, delete, or reorder the experiences. So it's the same thing as the skills inventory that we came up with earlier. And then you can select Add, just as before, to include your anecdotes. On the skills assessment, you can create multiple assessments by industry or job families. And if you notice here, the job families are listed. You can select a couple of different ones if you find that that is important. And then you can select from occupations from an ONET listing, which we also use with Illinois WorkNet on a regular basis. What happens here is if you review the ONET job details, you can include appropriate descriptions in your assessment that are listed in the job descriptions from ONET. And Natasha asked the question in the chat pod, has anyone ever used Optimal Resume? If you have, raise your hand with the little man at the top of the screen. And it looks like this is brand new to everybody, Natasha. All right, moving on. What you will do is you will complete the assessment process by adding your proficiency. And you would click on Add, and then this box pops up that says what level of experience you have, whether you're a novice, intermediate, or advanced, and then you include the years of experience, and then you rate your experience. So rate your skill with how those numbers fall into place. Is it years of experience, hours a week, words a minute? Typing, for example, might be how many words a minute can you type? And then enter in your own metric if you want to do that. All right, moving on to the next area is you can add comments as well in the next column about that particular skill, proficiency. And then you can add or delete proficiencies as well. So looking at this example, I've said that for AdSense Tracker, I have intermediate experience with 5 years, and that I know how to use X, Y, and C system, POQ system, and UVS system. So that would help them if there's a different sort of tool over here. It would tell you what specific ones you are able to use within that system. All right, the next slide here talks about after you enter your comments on your skills, you can return to edit at any time. So if you look at the arrow right here, click edit, and you can change the anecdotes that you have entered. And if you find that you have a column that doesn't have anything, you can then click over here to delete that skill. Skills assessment, you want to manage your assessments from the Document Center and select any assessment you created to make edits. And you can also delete the ones that you no longer need. So if you started out one and all of a sudden you decide, okay, I don't need my D bus campaign assessment, I could delete that one. And the same process applies to all of the different areas on the Document Center within Optimal Resume. So you can add here or delete from here if any of those things no longer apply to you. Next, we're going to be talking about Resume Builder, and I'm going to pull up our next poll, and if you want to take a moment to answer for us. I'm going to answer a couple of questions here. Um, Ray asked, with changing to a new career field, we would just use transferable skills. Correct, although in the assessment tool there is a part, an experience area for internships. So you could actually use items that you're learning within your internship as an opportunity to write down an anecdote. And if you're learning, you will have some experience in your new career field. You may not have work experience, but you would have education or internship experience. But of course, you can always add the transferable skills that are coming from your previous career path. All right, we're going to close this poll so that we can move on. And with Resume Builder, from the Document Center, you will select Resume Builder. Select Create a New Resume, and then select one of your old ones, or to edit or delete them, or create a new one to get started. So after you've selected Create a New Resume, you're going to enter a name for it, or you're going to upload an existing file. And note on the slide here, it says you cannot edit a resume that you upload. So if you want to just use it for reference, maybe somebody professionally did it for you, you can upload it, but you cannot make changes to it once you have uploaded it on this system. Resume Builder gives you 3 options to create a new resume. You can browse samples, you can browse sections, or you can start from scratch. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about each of these different areas. And when you start from scratch, it's just that you have a blank slate, if you notice here. If you start from scratch, this is for experienced resume writers. You have a totally blank slate, which means that you might want to be working with your career counselor to get this area completed. When you browse samples, it provides templates from which you can select a resume to use. And there's 145 different types of resumes within all of these areas, which is a huge number of resumes that you can select from which you can select. You want to pick an industry. You want to pick an industry here, and then an experience level. And it starts with entry level, mid-career, or experienced for the opportunities available to you. And then there are samples that show up. So 6 samples. As you can see, I can only get 3 on the screenshot. But there's a little brief appearance, like a thumbnail, of each of the samples that are available there. Review all the sample thumbnails, and then pick one that you might want to look at. And when you pick the one that you want to use, you just click the Select button at the bottom of the screen, at the bottom of the thumbnail. Then it will open up a full-size example for you to take a look at, and when you find the one that you want to use, just select Use this sample. After you make your selection, the builder automatically enters in your contact information right here. Then you can edit your document in the different areas with your particular information, because it will propagate information into the resume that is just sample ideas based on the industry information that you selected. So make sure that you make those changes to the resume yourself. Yes, Ray, you should add the training for your new career field in your current resume under education, unless you have some experience starting with that in an internship. The edit tool gives you the opportunity to style your resume, to edit the format, do a spell check, which is incredibly important, show the history of the changes that you've made, and then in here you can reorder the sections of your resume. So maybe you want professional experience to be up ahead of, up in front of qualifications, or you want your education to be at the top. You just select the reorder and it moves the sections around. And then down in the bottom you've got all of these tips and instructions that you can take a look at, including career exploration through ONET. So now when you're in the Browse Sections area of Browse Section Sets, this allows you to set up your resume with only the major sections, in which then you would enter your specific information. The Resume Builder, again, offers you categories. It offers you resume types that you want to create, and then it offers you the standard sections that are recommended based on the 2 selections that you made previously. Then you click Continue, and it will give you items, different items based on the category that you selected. So if I selected the items that are showing up in the screen here, it would change, if you notice, on the far right-hand column. It changes based on what I've picked in my selections in the first 2. After you make your selections, the blank template opens in the edit screen. And to make an edit, you just hover over an area. It turns to a colored color, orange or beige, depending on your computer screen. And that's the area that you can make edits to. The box opens up, and you can change the section name, and you can enter text in the box to enter all of the different information that's applicable to you. Again, you have the WYSIWYG tools, what you see is what you get, that include bolding, italics, underlining, strike through, or changing the font size, adding a link, adding a table. All of those tools are available to you. One of the great tools that's available on Optimal Resume is the ability for you to get some ideas based on examples, action verbs, or adding info bites. And this helps you with suggestions to help you make your resume that much stronger. So we're going to talk about examples next. And the examples are offered to you based on the area that you picked, whether you're non-exempt, whether you're experienced, manager, or an executive. And then it gives you ideas based on what you want to share within your resume. So this one is work experiences, and it gives you some sample language that you can use in your resume. So this makes it really easy for you to add the right language in the right grammar and making it very much more strong for your particular resume. With the action verbs, it gives you the ability to add action verbs to your resume. So let's take a look here. How many action verbs are in your resume? Action verbs help you promote yourself. Instead of saying, I I have used some acceleration tools. What you do instead is you say, I accelerated the process for X, Y, or Z to this result. And that just makes your resume sound that much stronger. So we're going to close this poll right now and move on with our presentation. The other thing that you can do is include an info bite. And an info bite gives a personal touch to your resume by including some statistics. And that might be something like, I answered X phone calls in 3 months, which was 7% of the whatever, so that you're giving some information to the potential employer or the reader of the resume that might make them sit up and say, oh, this person can do this, which is always very good. In the resume builder, in the experience section, it allows you to add the employer name, their location, the website, the date range of your employment, your title, and your job description. And again, you're offered the WYSIWYG tools that help you bold something to draw some attention or italicize it to draw some attention. And try not to underline things, because an underline typically means that it is a link to a website. Also in the resume builder, the tools from the top of the page with the document give you the ability to change some style information, including font and the layout and different tools to just make your resume different from everybody else's. The format header helps you change. Do you want things centered? Do you want a heading 1? Do you want it to be stronger than something else? Also all of the different tools. And then down in the tools section, you have the ability to read some or review some samples, find some tips, and look at some videos that might help you make a decision about some of the things that you need to do. On your resume builder, we discussed excuse me, a moment ago about reordering the tool, the resume order. So here we've got goals, education and training, skills and strengths, related experience with one of the jobs. Maybe you want skills and strengths above education, and maybe you want education at the top above your goals. Maybe the goals want to be at the bottom. So that's how you can reorder it, by clicking in your tool section, hitting reorder, and then moving the items around here. The other thing that you can do is you can import the information from your skills section in the assessment tool into your resume. And it allows you to include those key terms and phrases from your particular industry. And you want to pull those terms from the bottom of the screen that says My Skills. And then you want to make use of the ONET tool to help you properly use the keywords that are applicable in your industry. Keywords are very strong, they pull on the, Lynn, I don't know the answer if that's a cut and paste feature. I will find that out for you. I believe that it will, I think you can copy and paste. The next thing that you can do is on the My Skills section. Oh, here's your answer, Lynn. In the My Skills section, it comes up and gives you the example. So then you would just click in this area and copy that, paste it into the text portion of the Skills section on the Resume Builder. While you're in the Resume Builder, you also have additional tools. And what's useful about this is you can create one resume and clone it so that it's the exact copy, rename it for another employer so that you're sending a specific resume to a specific employer, it might all be manufacturing, but you might say manufacturing and then the name of the company because you reorder the information based on the job description that's listed in, I'm sorry, the information that's listed in the job posting. Then the other tools that are available are the Resume GPS, which is, we're going to discuss later in the presentation, but it's a tool to let you have employers search out your resume in the Optimal Resume tool. You can download your finished version, which is very useful if you've gotten something and you want to send it out by email to something not on this system. And then you can email it or share it by email out of this system or share it with another system. You can print your resume. You can make a list of to-do things for your resume. So maybe you need to check with an employer to say, what were my exact dates that I worked there? You can add that to your list of to-do. And then you can switch resumes. If you find out that you've gotten a date wrong, you can switch between your resumes and make those changes on all of your resumes. Next, we're going to talk about Letter Builder. Oh, let's pull up this poll question first. Do you customize your resume for each ad that you answer? And Lynn, I believe that everything in the clone can be edited. It is just another copy of what you've already done. That would make it easier for you to make those changes specific to an employer. All right, we're going to hide this poll now. And Letter Builder. This is the next tool. We're going to pull up this poll here. What types of letters do you send to business contacts? Check all that apply here. All right, we've got some fast and furious answers coming up. And we're going to take just another moment. And we're going to be closing this poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you for your answers. In the Letter Builder, you have the ability to, it helps you build letters the same way as you build resumes in the Resume Builder. You access the letters from the Document Center, and then you click on the Create New Letter, or you can choose from an existing letter. And right now I don't have any existing letters in this display. After you create a new letter, you name the letter, and then you start. You also have the option to upload a letter. This is just something that you might want to keep so that you've got some place to store your letters, especially if you're working on a non-home computer, a public computer. The Letter Builder gives you the options to, again, browse samples, to browse types of letters, or to start from scratch. Browsing the display samples gives you the ability to, again, pick by category and experience level. So your letters can change depending on what type of letter it is and what type of experience you have. Mike, you cannot copy and paste from an uploaded letter. You cannot make any changes from an uploaded letter. It's just there. Now, on this screen, it talks about letter types. And we've got broadcast letter, employer inquiry, specific job response, networking, thank you letters, follow-up letters, acceptance, and references. A broadcast letter is a letter that you would send out to investigate an opportunity. A referral letter is using the name of one of your connections to gain credibility. So that's a couple of opportunities that you may not have thought about in the past to use some of these letters for. Your letter types, again, give you the type of letter that you want to do, what sort of paragraphs you would like to include within your letter, and then examples of what those paragraphs might say. If you want to use that particular example, you can click Add. And if you notice, there's a scroll bar, so there are quite a few examples from which you can choose. The editing tools are, again, available. They give you examples, action verbs, and info bites that you can include in your letter. You can have the styling document items there as well as the tools. And you have the WYSIWYG tools, what you see is what you get, available to you as well. And starting from scratch is just that. You start from scratch. It only provides your name and address, and it gives you a format for you to include the information for the person to whom you are addressing the letter. Our next area is the portfolio builder. And portfolios are an important tool on Optimal Resume. You can access those from the Document Center, and it helps you compile collateral materials in one easy place for access for potential employers to see on your site. Within the Portfolio Builder, once you pick to create a new one, you'll name that portfolio. Then you start from a template or you start from scratch. Again, the options are always available to you from Optimal Resume. On the templates, you would determine what type of portfolio you want to create. And the options are available from a screen to select. Some of the portfolios give you different things, and you can pick like photography. You've got job and internship files, a website that you might have done, writing samples that you've done, graphics that you've created, coursework that you've completed. There's a multitude of options that are available for you to select. The portfolio starts with the basics, but you can include specific projects. So if you want to add a project, you just click this box, name it, include the information, and put in the information that you want to do and continue on. I happened to create one for this example, and I created by adding a file to the portfolio. The file selector screen on my computer opened up. I picked a file, or you can include a link to a website. And then as you have added the file, you can put a description of that file and any special notations that you need. So for example, if it's an image, you might want to select what sort of program they might want to use to include into this file to open that up. So you can store your files by project as well. So let's open up this poll and say, what kind of items could you include in your portfolio? And you can type in your answer in the box right at the top of the screen here, and your answers will show up in the box below. So take a moment and think about it. It looks like Natasha gave you one idea, okay, and we have sample work. So if you've created anything for anyone, you can include samples. I happen to do a lot of graphic design, so I could include those items in my portfolio. Certificates, yes. What sort of certificate have you earned? Have you gotten the NOCTI 21st Century certificate? Maybe you have earned, what else could you have earned? Programs that you developed was a good answer. We also have maybe photos of work that you've done. I'm thinking if you're in a welding class, you might want to add pictures of the welds that you've done. What about your MSSC certificate if you've taken the safety credential? All of these items would be good things to upload because you might have to scan and upload some of those items into your portfolio. I'm going to close this poll now. But those are just some examples. If you think of anything else, type an idea into the chat pod so that others might see what some of your ideas will be, because we are recording this so others might gain some ideas from your sharing on this video. Next in the area, we're going to be talking about video resume. Let me pop open this last poll question. Have you ever seen somebody's video resume? Lynn, you can add links into your portfolio. That is one of the options. So if you've got a link to a certificate, you can add that into your portfolio as well. If you haven't ever seen a video resume, it's a good idea to go take a look at YouTube and just type in video resume. There are some very good examples, and there are some very poor examples in there. You can take a look and see which ones you might prefer to have your video resume look like. So we're going to close this poll here. And Optimal Resume has a great tool for video resumes. It gives viewers the opportunity to see how you present yourself. Video resumes are one of the most current technological tools that you can use to share about 2 to 3 minutes about your career in a format that almost everybody is looking toward using now. One of the things that we want to do is select Create Your Resume and then name your video. And you can have multiple videos if you would like. 2 options are available. One with a teleprompter that provides a script for you to read while you're recording your video, and one without a teleprompter, which means you're flying solo. It's just you and the world talking. And if you work better off of paper, you could always put paper in front of your video screen so that you don't have to type it into the computer. Now, with a script, it allows you to name the script that you want to use. So I typed in welding script. Optimal offers 2 types of scripts from which you can choose, or you can start from scratch. So you can take a look and what's the script that you want to do? Are you networking with someone? Are you thanking someone, following up? Is it part of your application letter? Are you declining a job offer, or are you accepting a job offer? Or again, you can start from scratch. When you browse scripts, it gives you a synopsis of the type of video and resume that you want to create. So do you want to broadcast information? Is it specific to an industry? Is it specific to an employer? Check those items, select a type, and then once you've selected, a basic script opens up with the categories of the script. Then you will select the type of script and add the paragraphs over here for the kind of information that you want to share. And you just click Add, and it will offer some scripting that will go into that area. When you add the paragraphs, you can then edit that information to include specific names, specific company information, individualized data, so like stats, specific numbers related to your career path, and then phone numbers, information, contact information. Once you have completed your script, then you want to adjust your camera and accept access from Illinois WorkNet to your camera and microphone. When you close the application, the access to your camera and microphone goes away, so you don't have to worry about anybody spying on you. And if you notice here, I made some adjustments. Look at your video sample. Here I had too much ceiling. Is your background acceptable? Is the lighting favorable? Should you move the camera up and down? Make the adjustments as needed so that you have a better look. It's not so good to be looking at somebody's chin. It's better to look at it square in the face, make sure that the lighting is appropriate. Test the audio. Make sure that the microphone is picking up your voice. Is the microphone picking up background sounds? I have to hide my dogs and tell my husband to turn down the television when I'm trying to record things because my microphone is very sensitive and picks up a lot of background noise. In your video resume, once you're ready to go, all the items are appropriately adjusted. You can test the teleprompter. You can adjust the text size. You can adjust the scroll speed. And then when you're ready, you press record. And you have 3 seconds before the recording will begin. After you make a recording, you have the segment in here. You can either play it so that you can see how you sounded, you can redo it, or you can save it. Once you save, that section is saved and you go on to the next section. After all of your sections are completed, you can add bullet points into the section, onto the screen next to it. And what you might want to do is make sure that you're adding things to make yourself individualized. We're going to talk about this in just a second. You can also select the skin color backgrounds, which is this area right around your image. You can select which color you would like that to be as well. So in your bulleted area, I picked green. You can use the keywords that are applicable to the segment that you are speaking so that they can see the words as well as hear the voice. And make sure that you are using action verbs. And we've talked about that before. I know that Chelsea has shared in our Illinois WorkNet group on LinkedIn an article about using action verbs so that you can reference a lot of those different areas available to you. When you are done, you can preview your final video as it will appear on your individualized website. And that's our next section, so this was a perfect segue. Website Builder is one of the additionally great tools on Optimal Resume. It gives you the ability to build a mini website for you. And it's one of the best ways for you to be found on the internet is to have a website. So you want to use the Website Builder tool to create your own branded website on Illinois WorkNet. And we're going to talk about that now. So you want to create a new website. And again, we're naming the website. So you name your website here. And then you select the pages that you wish to appear on your website. You enable those sections that you want to use, and then you pick the document that you want to add from that section. This is a great tool to help you build a really useful website for people to go to. The next thing that you do is select a template that you want to use on your website, and there's a multiple set of colors and multiple layouts from which you can choose. I always tend to go to the back of the bunch because people don't scroll that far sometimes, so I'm always getting a fresh look and a new idea. When you enable the sidebar in your profile and on your website, it helps you add different tools that include social media and social media sites like LinkedIn, Twitter, or your blog. Make sure that if you're writing about your career in a blog, that you add the link to that blog. If you do not already have a LinkedIn profile, you need to make sure that you have one. I just noticed the other day after doing a Google search that your LinkedIn profile either shows up number 1, 2, or 3 if somebody searches your name. And Chelsea or Natasha or Lacey, if you could add the link to the LinkedIn recorded video that we have on Illinois WorkNet, I would appreciate that. Type that into the chat pod for us, please. To make your video resume, you will need a webcam that has audio available to you. If you don't have one, they do have them in most of the Illinois WorkNet centers and in career centers at your local community college. Okay, moving on with the website. Once you have completed the sidebar and pages that you want to include, you want to activate your website. And then after you've activated it, first and foremost, you won't have any hits, but the link for your specific URL is listed there, and you can share that with potential employers. You could include this link on your resume that you've created. After you have opened up your website and people are looking at it or have looked at it, you can see how many hits are showing up on your website. So that's a great tool to see how many people are actually looking at your website and looking at the information. It also helps to know that if you're going to be getting any calls or not. After your website is up, you can view your website. It has the toolbar across the top that would include the components that you decided to add. It would be your resume, your portfolio, your skills, and your video resume. When you look at the resume page, it's just that. It's how your resume is laid out. There's some sharing tools across the top, or you can print it as a PDF. Your portfolio has all of the different information of the portfolios that you selected, and people can link to a website or to the PDF document that you've shared. Under your skills, it shows the little anecdotes that you added into your skills under your experiences, and it goes all the way down with your proficiency levels on your skills as well. And then your video resume shows up and shows the bullets that you've added to the resume, to the resume. All right, one of the other great tools that's available on Optimal Resume is the interview prep. And interview prep helps you prepare for a resume, for an interview. So we've done the assessment, check. We've done our skills, check. Our resume is done, check. Our letters are done, check. Video resume is done, check. Our website is done, check. Now we're just waiting for the calls to come in. But how are we going to handle the interviews? And Optimal Resume gives you a great tool to do that. It offers you the opportunity to practice interview questions and see and hear your responses. So you pick that out of your document center and you name your interview. Select the type of interview that you would like to practice. Is it your final interview? Is it a hiring manager? Is it initial face-to-face? Is it a panel? Panel interviews can be really scary. Is it a high-pressure interview? Screening? all of these different categories are all here. And if you notice, behind it, it shows you how many questions are involved in the category for the interview prep. When you are looking at the choices, you have the ability to either do video where it will record your voice and image, and again, you'll need to have a webcam that has a microphone on it. Audio, you would only need a microphone. Text your answers, you would just need your keyboard, or you can just listen. And sometimes just listening to the questions, it will help you formulate an answer in your mind so that you're prepared when somebody actually asks you the question. Maybe you don't actually have an answer and you do need to find an answer to those particular questions, because these are some of the best questions that people would ask you during an interview. After you select the type of interview, the questions from the playlist are shown in parentheses. So over here, the number of questions, we talked about that just a moment ago. Choose the type of video that you want to do, audio or video, and then connect your webcam. And again, once you close the program, the access to your webcam goes away. Completed recordings are noted with a green flag, and then if you have not completed the questions, it shows a red flag here. Now, one of the things that's great about this is you can share your interview, your practice interview, here with a career counselor. So maybe you've answered the questions and then you share those questions with your career counselor. That person can then go over your information with you to say how you might better answer those questions. Next, we have Resume GPS. This is the last tool that we're going to be talking about today. And Resume GPS is available for you to upload your resume to. You go to the Resume GPS from your document center, open the resume, so under your section, open the resume, and select Resume GPS. Click the box to opt in to the Resume GPS. After you opt in, complete the keyword tags. Keywords are crucial to having people find your resume. One of the tools that you can use to find what the keywords are is copy some of those job descriptions into a tool called Wordle. And I'm going to type that into the chat pod there, wordle.net, and it will create a word cloud of keywords from job descriptions. So you copy about 4 or 5 job descriptions into Wordle, make that word cloud, and those are the basic keywords that you will need to use on your Resume GPS. Add the location, add a photo if you want, add education information, and your career preferences, whether you want full-time or part-time. The other portion of Resume GPS that's available is you can check for messages. Are there any messages on your Optimal Resume profile that will maybe indicate that an employer is trying to contact you? Look at the statistics. Check to see if there's any online interviews scheduled, and check to see if anybody would like to do a video conference with you. So that's it for Optimal Resume. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope you've picked up a nugget or two, and I hope you look forward to using Optimal Resume. It is a great, great, great tool. We have recorded this video, and we will have it available in our Illinois WorkNet videos. We will have it on YouTube on our Illinois WorkNet channel, and we will have it in ilworknetmanufacturing.com under the Adam pages under Adam videos. So that is our video for today. And I would like for you to take just a few moments to answer our polling questions at the bottom. I hope I was able to answer everybody's questions through the course of the webinar, or else Natasha was able to get your answers. If there are any questions that you need to have answered about the tool, you can send the information in an email to info at Illinois WorkNet dot, my pointer just went out on me, at info at illinoisworknet.com. Natasha or Chelsea or somebody, can you type in the email address into the chat pod, please? And Trish is asking how long before it will be available to the general WorkNet customer. I'm not quite sure on that. Natasha might have a better answer for you. We are rolling it out to Atom clients first, and we hope that it will be available to the general Illinois WorkNet user soon. And Natasha just typed, we will be sending out a notice about this. So, are there any other general questions that we can answer for you about this tool? We appreciate your time this morning. We want to make sure that we're cognizant of that, and we are at an hour right now, so we want to try and wrap things up. And if we do have a couple of people typing. I would like to thank Natasha and Chelsea and Lacey for helping me with this webinar. How can we practice with this other than creating our own? Natasha, if you can answer Trish, I would appreciate that. We may need to take that answer offline, Trish. So thank you very much for your time and attention today. We will be posting this recording and sending out a notice. Check Illinois WorkNet Manufacturing.com in the Atom pages so that you can check to see if the video has been uploaded. We're going to end the recording now. Thank you very much.